I don't know why I'm not able to record during screen share, but okay, here we are. Now we're recording. So yeah, and it's kind of hard to see the subtle distinction that I'm making here, but at the end I'll show you a larger size of the painting and you'll be able to see how this comes into play. Around the daisy I'm working on there right now is I'm looking at it from behind, you know, it's kind of going away from me. And I had put in light around the outer edge and then I dropped the darker green into the center. So even like everything has a color change. And it's subtle. It's subtle. Like you might not even consciously register it, but it's there. And you can see how I continually mix up more color as I go. When you do that, it accomplishes two things. It keeps your color pigmented so that it doesn't fade by continually adding water. Plus, every time you mix two colors, you know, it's going to be a slightly different version of the color. So then you get a lot more variety and it's not all the same. So some of the stems will have more red in them, some of them will have more green, some of them will have more of the yellow green. You know, just like in nature, you know, no two of them are identical. In the painting, you don't really want them to be identical. And this, at this point, you know, it's a much different, I just felt a shake, like, well, like an earthquake or something. I don't know what that was. That was weird. My chair just shaked. Did anybody feel an earthquake just now? No? Okay. Hopefully it's nothing. So this is a much different, you know, painting style or approach as what I've done previously on the painting. And it's actually really methodical. It's kind of, you've got this plan, mix up the light side, mix up the dark side of the stem, mix up the leaf colors, and then go through from left to right, top to bottom, and do the blends. So it's kind of, you do your planning ahead of time. You've got your plan in place, and then you just kind of methodically go through it. And it's actually kind of nice because, oh, is this one done? Okay, I'm done with that one. Let me get the other one up. What's nice about it is that you can kind of relax into it. And, you know, it's really interesting. I have noticed over the years, and I don't know if anyone else has this experience when they're painting, but when I paint in this way where I'm kind of on autopilot a little bit. I mean, I'm conscious of what I'm doing and I'm still, you know, it's not like I'm being lazy, but since I have it all mapped out and I'm in my groove, I'm kind of repeating the same things again. My mind goes really right-brained because I've already done all the logical left brain stuff, and my mind goes really right-brained, and I start recalling memories, and I don't know, my mind just travels and journeys, and I go to these far off places. And I think a lot of healing takes place in that space because I've noticed that even traumatic memories will come up and I'll just kind of recall them and then they pass through. It's like they repressed things come up for release. I mean, that's just my own personal side note of working that way, but I'm mentioning it to you in case you might be aware of that, and to realize that even though it may seem kind of boring and tedious to paint that way, that there's actually, I think that it's beneficial. That's, you know, like the whole coloring book craze.
Yeah.
It has to do with that kind of thing where you're filling in the shapes, because that's kind of what you're doing there. Okay, so now in this video, what I need to do is I need to put in a I need to put in a midground that becomes a bridge between that super loose, you know, ethereal background and the very crisp, detailed foreground. So what I'm going to do is I'm bringing out those red, you know, those kind of really light, watery red circles are faded out poppies. So I'm just going to bring them forward slightly I mixed up a lighter version of the poppies in the foreground, so I have more water, and I put it down in the center of the circle. Then I add water to the outer edge, and then I blot that outer edge even further to really soften the edges, because I don't really want any hard shapes. I want the shapes to be kind of emerging a little more, but I don't want them to be crisp in the foreground. So they're kind of, they're in that mid-ground range. So here I am adding water, and then I've got my paper towel, and I'll blot and soften those outer edges. So that's showing that. So you kind of have the idea of that. I'm going to scoot along here. I did a few more over there. So again, I'm working kind of left to right, going across the page, adding some dark. So now I'm going to start bringing some darks down into the bottom. This is a really rich brown that I mixed up with my red and my phthalo, and probably added a little bit of gold to that. I let those dry slightly before I added the water to the edge. So you can see I'm painting around the stems, right? I want to leave those in the foreground, but by putting that darker paint kind of behind the daisies, it's going to make even more space. So and this one, this painting style is kind of just like the colors and the shapes that I'm doing are kind of in between the foreground and the background. The whole painting style is kind of in between. It's a little more controlled, but it's a lot looser. And when I get to this point, my mind is not free for those old memories. And I'm not really journeying as much because I'm having to really pay more attention actually to what I'm doing here. So it's actually kind of a treat to be able to just fill in shapes, because you know, you can kind of go into more of a, it's really like an active meditation. But here you've got to think more. I'm bringing some more poppy shapes down into that lower section. And now here, what I want to really stress for this portion of the video is how much darker I'm going to get by detailing out this lower portion. Really, 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 you really want to get your darks in the bottom to ground the piece in a landscape, especially in a, you know, a close-up meadow like this, but really any kind of landscape. The thing is that as human animals, we can't do anything until we feel grounded and safe, right? Like that's like the root chakra is all about grounding and feeling stable and solid. And on a visual level, when you see these darks on the bottom, it sends that message to the nervous system that you're stable and balanced. So the viewer, and this is all unconscious, by the way, but when the viewer looks at a painting that has these dark, grounding colors and shapes on the bottom, they feel emotionally kind of secure and stable. That allows them to, you know, this painting has the stability and the groundedness of the darks on the bottom, and then this ethereal air up here. When you have that sense of feeling really stable and secure and grounded, then you can go into the you know, and the ooh, and the like the release of the ethereal space up above. So on a psychological level, it's like a subliminal, you're kind of, you know, working subliminally with your imagery here and your content really by allowing the viewer an experience of bliss, I'll say, when you do that. So I hope that makes sense. But what I really want to stress is that you almost can't go too dark. People.
How did you mix the brown? I'm sorry.
What's that?
How did you mix the brown?
Well, you know, watch what I'm doing here. I've got, that's purple. I am continually dipping my brush in different trays. So the brown is really not just one color.
Right.
I just dipped it in the purple. Let's see where I go next. I know I was dipping in the phthalo blue. I'm adding some water to these because I don't want super sharp edges down here. I want some of them to be kind of sharp, but also some of them more soft. So if I add water to it, it's going to soften it and fade it out a little bit. But for my brown, let's see, I'm going to go with that greeny. That's phthalo blue-green that I'm adding in here. And then a lot of times I'm dipping into this cadmium red and also this gamboge, which is a golden yellow. So that's basically my brown mentry or Donna are these three colors: the phthalo,
Okay.
the alizarin, and the gamboge. Okay, so just, you know, did a lot of passes using a variety of darks to build that up. And then I decided, after I had done that, I decided there was too much of a split between the lower and the upper. So I decided to go ahead and bring in a few more poppy shapes kind of floating up into this upper part. They don't go all the way to the top, but I brought them further into this space so that there would be more unity in the painting. And then I'll blot those. And then yeah, it's true. We do go out of monkey brain into spirit. You know, I think this is why artists live so long, is because all the time in the studio painting, it is so calming and soothing on the nervous system, and we get out of that flight or fight monkey brain and into a more calming, healing space. And plus, artists just keep their curiosity and their openness alive. So it's true. Okay. So here's the final painting. And I'll get here's the photo. So you can see how these darks down here, just help ground it. And then you can kind of come up into this more ethereal space.
Beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank
beautiful.
you. Any questions on the meadow painting, you guys? Or any of those? Any of that?
Did you use all watercolor this time?
Yeah, I did. I used all watercolor.
I thought I saw that in your palette.
Yeah, I've been kind of steering away from, I've been trying to, I got this thing that I need to renew my license, but I have to go in person, and it told me to make an appointment online, but they're not taking appointments online, so it's really confusing. And I don't want it. The last place I want to go right now is the DMV.
I don't blame you.
God.
I had to renew mine and
What's
I
that,
just
Cheryl?
did it online. It was easy.
At this
I don't know.
point,
I had to renew mine.
yeah, I have to do it in person this time, they tell me.
I was supposed to too.
I am too.
I was going to get one of those new type of IDs, and I couldn't do that yet because you have to go in person for that.
But you were able to see, mine expires on my birthday this year.
Uh-oh.
Mine expired too. I had to renew it I could only renew it with a driver's license online. I couldn't get the ID.
Oh, I don't care about the ID because I can use my passport, but okay, well, maybe I'll try that and see if I could do that. I don't want to go to the DMV right now with this breakout of COVID.
I couldn't even go to the DMV in April. It was closed.
I guess they're open now, but
anyways.
anyways.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand.
So I'm going to show you this video, and I want to point out a couple things before I start it. He's got his drawing. So he's already done the controlling, planned out, left brain conceptual planning, right? He's got the pencil drawing done. This is masking fluid, the green. He's masked off some white areas. He's got the paper wet. He starts, I noticed he did this on the ocean painting too. He starts by putting in his light, the rays of light. So he's got this wet, and he's going to do some streaks of blue and like a gold. And he starts with that, and then he's going to gradually build up his darks, layer, layer, layer. Now the painting stays pretty wet the whole time because he's going to be using his little spritz bottle, and he's adding water to the paper every time he puts more paint down, and he uses a lot of water. And sometimes he'll just use his brush to put water down. Also take notice of how he lifts, he'll squeeze, he doesn't show this, but he squeezes or blots out his brush so it's dry, and he'll go in and do strokes to lift the pigment up to get the whites, to get the lights for the light coming through again. So I'm just going to play this through.
You see, the world has changed. You don't need to sell at events and galleries anymore. You can go directly to your customers, and more importantly, they can come directly to you. So how do I know that you can find your customers online? Let me give you a glimpse of what.
I was tempted to watch that, but we won't. See all that pigment? He's just dumping it on there.
A lot of us want to get rid of intra-abdominal fat, what we call the deep fat. The biggest issue, you could argue,
Chris, is he using a tilted board, do you think, to get that water flow?
Yeah, well, he's definitely manipulating the board a lot. I'm not sure if he's working flat or tilted right now. He's definitely moving the board around a lot. I think that's a sponge. It's hard to see what he's using, but I'm pretty sure it's a little sponge. He's removing his frisket now, you guys. He's blocking that area off with his finger to spray the area beneath it because he doesn't want the water to go up above. You'll see him do that a couple times. Whoops.
My dad used to come home drunk every day and hit me. My mom had passed away from giving birth to me, and my
See there, he just wants to spritz that lower area. See how dark he's getting? Now he's working flat, but he manipulates his painting a lot. And I notice he uses separate little cups for his colors, and that way he can pour individual colors onto them. So here's where he's lifting to get the rays of light. So he's done this like maybe 5 layers of this area, building up the darks. He just keeps going back, building it up more and more. Here he's blotting to kind of soften the edge of that reflection a little bit, getting it wet with the brush and then kind of rubbing it with the tissue. And there's the final painting signed.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was about the third.
Very pretty.
Okay, I'm gonna come out of
His boulders were fabulous.
his what?
His boulders were fabulous. It was
Yeah,
so
the
soft, and
boulders.
yet they
Yeah.
had
Yeah, they
real
are.
boulders, but and the same thing with his vegetation in the tree, where it was a little more pronounced, but it was still very soft.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So did you guys learn anything from this, or what's your takeaway from watching this video?
I've always struggled with wanting to be looser, and then I start getting tight when I do it. So I love how loose that is. Is it
Yeah.
possible to see the final painting again, or is that too hard because it's part of a video?
Um,
I wanted to take a picture of it, but it's not necessary. It might be a hassle to.
Will you send us a link for that?
yeah, let me see.
good.
Hold on, let me go back to it.
Barbara, have you heard of the book How to Paint
She was
How a
eating
watercolor
cake
paint
for breakfast.
itself?
She
Sorry,
was
I
laying on the
hold
treadmill.
Oh,
on.
I
sorry.
don't think so. That's okay, Carissa. Thank you.
I'm
No
gonna.
worries. No, Cheryl, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
Well, the secret to being able to spray colors and lift them like that is that they don't stain. And so she uses a whole palette of colors that are non-staining, and then she uses Windex bottle to spray it off. And she also masks everything. And then so when the paint runs and runs together, it's real soft and you can lift it out easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you use colors that are staining,
Right.
it doesn't work as well. So if you look up, I have her book. I think it's Nita. I always get mixed up with Nita Leland or Nita Ingalls, one of them. But one of them is an expert in color, and the other one is she's a painter from I think it's Michigan area. And I did a workshop with her years ago. It was like a 5-day workshop, and it was so much fun. We just you know, had pans of colors, and we'd put them, we had to prepare the board, watercolor board, with masking fluid, had to draw everything. We basically traced what she was doing and then had to mask it out. But that was the same thing. We were spraying the paint and rolling it, you know, moving the board around, and it was a lot of fun, but it was also pretty messy. We had to wear aprons and we got watercolor everywhere, but we were having so much fun.
Yeah, you noticed she had some kind of a towel, or, you know, to absorb the spilled color.
Yeah,
To catch all drips.
I want to run and get that book so I could show you her stuff, because it's very similar, but it's on my shelf over here. But I don't know if you want me to take the time. I would recommend her as well. I mean, looking at her work is similar. If you had that book, it's similar.
Do you remember, Cheryl, when we were in Rose Margaret Braden's classes, she talked about like transparent colors versus staining colors and all that, and I've kind of forgotten about all that.
Yeah, I know Peacock Blue is, or I think it's Antwerp Blue is one, and many of the Windsor, like Windsor Red, Windsor colors are non-staining. But yeah, it's a whole study of being able to use the right colors to be able to move them around like that and have them not stain. So,
and you can kind of tell when you're painting with your different colors which ones are, like I have a cobalt violet that's very staining, and that smelt blue is super staining. You can kind of tell just from using them and trying them out.
quinacridone colors are staining for sure.
Yeah,
Any phthalo or quinacridone, those colors are all very staining.
yeah.
And,
Although,
violet,
you know, I wouldn't rule out using those for this
no,
type of thing, because it might be nice to have some of the pigment goes down into the crevices of paper, and it can be really nice even with this technique.
yeah.
So,
I'm not saying not to use staining colors, but that's, looking at what he did, it looked very much like he was using non-staining colors to achieve the soft pastel-y look. So
yeah.
that's all I was saying, because it looks similar to what Nita Leland or Ingalls. I think it's Leland. I'm gonna go get the book.
Okay.
Have any of you worked on Yupo paper where you can really lift off anything?
I haven't. I know Bill has used that in class before.
Yeah, I've done a few.
For those of
on
you who
Yupo.
don't know, Yupo is kind of a plastic.
Yeah. But when it dries, the colors are amazing.
Yeah, so
I
there's
can
all
show you an
kinds of
example, but
things
yeah,
to
you can
do.
literally just take a wet paper towel and just wipe off everything that's on the paper.
Wow.
I found it.
Okay,
It's
here's the
How to
book.
Make a Watercolor Paint Itself. Nita Ingle, E-N-G-L-E. And she does a very, very similar, let me see if I can, I'm gonna just look at the colors, because she uses little squirt bottles full of the color too. Like he was pouring the cups, she would put it in a squirt bottle and squirt it on. And I just wanted to look at the palette. Has her colors, cerulean blue and Antwerp blue and cobalt blue. Those are all non-staining. Now she does have some French ultramarine in there, but Windsor yellow, Aurelian yellow, and Payne's gray, brown madder alizarin. Those are many of the colors that will go on, and they won't stain the papers as easily.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl.
Brought an
Yeah.
example.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
go
brought an
ahead.
example of a painting on UFO, if anyone wants to see.
Oh, sure. Let's see that, Barbara.
It's like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of like the paint just sits on there like plastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
You can wipe it off easy.
You can totally wipe it off. It's just sitting
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Challenging.
So for this week's project, you know, the assignment. Okay. Yeah.
One of her paintings I was just going to show you was in the lake
It's
or whatever.
beautiful.
Yeah. Great.
Some of
Thank
it
you.
just reminds me of her stuff.
So on the syllabus, the assignment is to do the Alice Keck Park, because, you know, I thought we would all be meeting there, but that's not happening. And I didn't do a painting of Alice Keck Park because I had to finish my meadow painting. So for this week, it's pretty open for what you guys want to do. If you want to play around with, you know, you could just play and try some of the techniques that you saw in the video. But I would recommend at least trying to get an underlying structure to kind of bring out from all your pours and your wet on wet with a drawing, you know. But you might want to think about, you know, giving that a try, or you could paint Alice Keck Park. And I will say that, you know, I've done a few paintings of Alice Keck Park and they always sell immediately because people do love local scenes. That might be another one for you, Chloe, if you want to put it. You know, I've done the pond, and I've done one of just a tree and vegetation. So whatever you want to do, or if you want to focus on a cloud painting or do another landscape, like it's pretty open for what you guys want to do. Does that sound okay?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Do you have any examples of like work you've done in the past with working with water reflection and how you've interpreted it?
Let's see.
Because I find it really difficult. It's like, still really difficult.
Let me do that for next week because, okay, this is my story. I'm leaving 2 weeks from Friday to take my summer break and go see Eldon. And I've been going nonstop since we went online March 15th, and I haven't had a breather or a break. And I really want to, well, I kind of can't do my filming videos up there while I'm on break. So so right when I come home, you know, fall semester starts and I'm going to have 5 classes. And so I'm wanting to get those 5 lessons prepared in the next 2 weeks before I go. So next week, I think I might, instead of having another lesson, because next week's assignment is to paint your favorite local spot. And so I think what I'm going to do is show a bunch of my paintings of local areas and then maybe some other artists' work. And I'll look for another YouTube video to show you guys because I need to kind of get a jump on I'm trying to get like ahead a little bit. So does that sound okay, Chloe, if I share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of
All
course.
Right. Okay, so we'll do that.
When does the fall semester start? Do you know?
It's, I've got my syllabus right here. I've already done my syllabuses, so that's good.
Wow.
It starts like the Tuesday class starts August 27th, and the Wednesday class starts August 28th.
Oh, thank you.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have, after today, we have 2 more weeks, and then we'll have a 2-week break. And did everybody get a chance to sign up if you want to? Okay, good. Great. Okay, so we actually do have, oh, let's see. Alberto wants to know the name of that book. Cheryl, can you type it into the chat box? The name and the author? Thank you. Okay, and we do have some paintings to look at, so let's get that up.
Probably stop recording.
Oh, thank you. See, I can't do it during screen share, so that's all right. The new rule, so part of the reason why I'm a little, not able to like stay way ahead is I had to spend 5 hours or something. I had to do this training for the college on equity and accessibility. And part of the new protocol for the fall is that I'm going to have to record all of every class and post it on YouTube, but it will only be a private link. It'll be private to only people who I send the link to. So after every week, I'll be sending you guys an email with the link to the YouTube video. So we might as well get in the practice of recording the critiques because they're going to be part of the new requirement by the college.
How long will they stay posted?
I don't know.
Because I believe, shouldn't you take them off at the end of the session, end of the class? Please find that out.
Okay, I will. I don't think they mentioned that. I think it's up to the teacher. Did you don't want them to stay up, Mantrita?
Well, I didn't know. I mean, it's good for all of us to know how long that exposure would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think they pretty much leave it up to the teacher, but because they didn't really specify what that requirement is. So anyways, I'll see if I can find out. I've got so much stuff to do, so many, I mean, it's just kind of crazy to keep up with all these details, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Right.
Okay, so is this somebody in this class, you guys? I think sorry, I think that might actually be from the other. I'm going to move that over to this column. What about this one? Is this one anyone in here?
Oh, it's nice.
That's gorge.
I think that's from the other class too. Here's Chloe's. I know this one's Chloe's.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, isn't that great? Let me get rid of this in the background. Sorry. You don't need this guy. Okay.
Yum, yum.
Yeah, right? Juicy, yummy, seasonal, fun.
This is a nice companion piece to your veggie one, the farmer's market one.
Yes.
And oftentimes, Chloe, with licensing, they do sets like that. They'll do like this set of your melons and your market piece would be great. Like I've had things licensed on paper plates and napkins. This would be really good for that, like for summer, summer themed party stuff.
Right.
So it's nice when you do get a licensing agent and you're sending images, it's kind of nice to send sets, like series, like a set of or a few, because companies really like that.
And how many are usually in a set? Is that like anywhere from 3 to 4, or is it longer?
Anywhere from 2 to 6, anywhere in there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Get to work. Any
Yeah.
suggestions for my next fruit collage?
So did you take this photo yourself, or is this a scan from Color Services?
Oh, this is a photo I took myself.
Okay, you're doing a good job with your photos.
Thank you.
But are you
Yeah,
getting
you
them
are.
scanned?
I am. I just sent a batch out to Color Services.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my critiquing. Okay. I mean, we all see it's really beautiful and really well done, but I'm gonna kind of pick it apart for you a little bit. Okay.
Yes, please.
The insides of the melons are really, really, really good. I think that these outer ones could be a little stronger. And I'm trying to tell here, is this melon, because is this like coming up? Is this behind the watermelon?
Yeah, it is.
But
Well,
it's
actually, it was kind of weirdly snugged. It was kind of like, it was just like kind of like on the perimeter. But are you saying I should darken it where it touches?
it's just it's a little confusing, the placement of it. And this one gets really flat right here. And this one's a little flat. So I just want to point out a couple of things. You know, and you don't have to change this painting by any means, but I just want to point out some technical corrections for the future that you could make. When you're rounding out here like this, it's not quite correct the way this strip hits this. It would actually curve down. It would round down a little more here just at the end. You know what I mean? And you could actually this one could stay, but even if you just widen this one down and just angle it down slightly right here, it will really help round that shape out a lot.
Thank you.
Also, the reason why it's kind of flat is because as it comes down around the base, it's actually going to get darker. So if you could lay this over, actually, you could do a wash over the whole thing, and it would be dark here around the center. It would get lighter in the middle of the ring, and then along the outer edge, it's going to darken again. And that's going to give this melon more roundness. Okay.
Right.
If you curve this out, this one even could widen out slightly. It's all the other ones pretty much widen out, and this one is basically parallel. If you could widen that out slightly, scoot this down and wrap it toward the center, it's going to help a little bit. Okay, so this guy needs a little bit of love because he's kind of right there, you know, and he's competing. I mean, this is pure gorgeousness. And this guy is competing with this gorgeous queen of a watermelon up here. Poor thing. Like, he needs a little crimping. Okay.
What if she added a little more color to it rather than just be more of a monotone also? Would that be good? I think the honeydew is just amazing.
Yeah, this is also a beauty. Yeah, you could, you know, I see a little bit of kind of this yellowy color. When you get to the center part of your ring, you could bring in a little bit of this yellow into here and then have the center and the outer be more of the dark bluey green.
Yeah.
That would also help, and that would also contribute to the roundness of it.
Yeah, I see it.
Because you know, remember, the cool colors recede and the warm colors come forward. So, and then this guy is kind of flat, and I see that it's getting dark, a little bit darker down here, but you could push that more. So this is really gorgeous up here, but if you could darken, and especially where it comes down and meets the green negative space, if you could really darken that more to make it, give it more roundness, then you'll be good to go. Like this.
Yeah.
Put
So
some
just
really
push
dark
it.
shadow into here so it pushes back. And it will also help this guy pop forward in front of that more.
Okay.
And then I think these two are fine, but it's mainly these two up here that need a little more love. But yeah, it's good. I think, you know, you need to just, and if you could sharpen this stem, you want to make this really pop forward. I would almost put a little bit of a wash of a goldeny yellow on this, or a like this color. Even though it may be green, I would bring in some of this warm peachy color onto the stem to make this really be jutting forward.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, thank you so
Yeah,
much. I was
yeah.
kind of worried. I was like, something's not reading right about this, and I couldn't put my finger on it. So
Well,
I
you
totally
can
appreciate it.
almost get away with it because these other parts are so luscious. But if you want it to be on a napkin, then you got to get this up to par.
Pump it up. We love it. Thank you.
I see there's some pretty greens in there in that melon she's talking about that's darker.
Oh.
The real dark areas are really
Yeah.
pretty. I think if you got more of that color in there.
This color?
That color, yeah.
Yeah, that's really gorgeous. Yeah, if you did this color more along the outer part and maybe along in here. Yeah, just give this one the same kind of focus and attention that you did on the watermelon.
Okay.
And you'll get there.
Chloe, how did you do those watermelon seeds? They're just so well done. Did you used a really dark, and then did you go on top with a little bit of lighter for the highlights?
I did. So I have a white watercolor that I use really sparingly sometimes. I think it's like titanium white. For the seeds though, so what I did was I mixed like a dark blue, dark brown, and a dark purple, and kind of gave it that different kind of a tone to it. And then while it was almost like, it was still pretty wet when I dropped a little bit of like worked white titanium a little bit into each seed, just to give it a little bit more of a reflective quality. And then just like spotting around the frame of them, just so you could kind of like get the texture. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Well done. And then the darker part under the seeds is just so amazing. Like a real watermelon has that juicy section where you have it a little darker and juicy. It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I agree. Very pretty.
Have you brought this one in to get scanned yet, Chloe?
I finished it yesterday, so that's on my agenda.
But I'm hoping you still have it on hand that you could fix that melon before you bring it to color.
I do. Yes,
Okay,
I
good.
do. And I will get to work.
We have our own companion piece to that from Donna. She also did another garden painting.
Oh, yes, that's my shadow in there at the bottom.
What's that, Donna?
That's my shadow on the bottom of the painting, I think. Right there.
What do you mean it's your shadow?
Well, you know how if you take the photo a certain way, you lean over it, your shadow is.
Oh, I see. You've got your shadow. Okay.
Beautiful
You did a
color.
really beautiful job of getting lots of different colors in here.
Thank you.
Very pretty, Donna.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
really gorgeous.
Makes me want to eat it.
Yeah. What do we think of this white up here? Is that white, Donna, or do you have some paint on there?
No,
that
I have
paper?
some paint. It's actually a pale yellow.
Oh, pale yellow. Okay, good.
Critique.
I darken it a little more.
Well, no, I think I'm kind of, as I spend some time with it, I'm kind of liking it. Did you do some frisket here?
Yeah, I did.
That is really nice. Look, she just did a little bit of frisket with this interesting line, these interesting lines, and then up here. So she's got, and then a little bit down here. So then having this detailed white and then a little bit of opening of white up here, I think really works well.
Thank you.
I mean, I know you have the yellow there, but
Yeah, it's pale, really pale.
yeah, yeah, really nice.
Thank you.
Nice contrast. She really pushed the purple here. You just kind of simplified this, which works fine. It's actually getting somewhat abstract with some of these shapes, right? It's kind of an abstraction of this in a way.
Yeah, that's what I thought about doing.
What size is it?
It is a quarter sheet.
Wow.
Well, that's
I'd like to encourage you to do some more like this, Donna.
Well, thank you, Carissa. Okay.
Yeah, I think this brings out strength of yours.
It seems like you had fun with that, Donna.
I did. I love all the colors.
Yeah,
Cool.
I would try to find more photos, you know, in this vein and do some of these close-up
I
shots.
took this at that Seaside Gardens.
Oh, you took the photo. That's even better.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I would try to do some more close-ups of nature like this. I think it's good for you. You know, you've already got an interesting composition because you've done of the cropping that you've done in the photo already, having it fill up the whole space. And then these are really
That's
interesting.
the way I took it.
Yeah.
I took a close-up.
Good. Yeah, I would encourage you to do more of that.
Thanks.
Okay, that's all I have from you guys. Does anybody else have any paintings that they wanted to share here? Okay. So we're all doing fine?
We're great.
Good. I'm doing okay with giving up my coffee. I ordered some really high-grade matcha green tea, which is on its way, and I ordered some of Barbara's Shakeology to get my boost of nutrients in the morning. So I'm still a little sloggy in the morning, but I'm hoping I'll get there.
So we're in the fog.
Yeah, the fog doesn't help.
So Carissa, I wanted to ask, or Chloe, did you show the progress of that the shot Biltmore dancer?
Yeah, I did.
I missed it. I
sold the painting, but she didn't put the dancer in. So we're glad she did.
Okay.
But she sold it immediately.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
That's so great.
If you want to see the finished work, I'll send you to my Instagram in the group chat. It's on there if you want to see it. So,
I do. Okay.
And check out, it's in the chat. Go to Instagram. Also, Barbara, I wanted to mention for you, I noticed on Instagram you're not tagging your paintings. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, on my two other business accounts, I have all the hashtags all the time, and I haven't done that on my art.
You should. You know, as long as you're posting them up there, you might as well tag them to get more people to come there.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you knew about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I like on my wedding stuff, I have like 20 hashtags on everything, but yeah, I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, it's good. It really
like
helps.
Kind of stuff like Santa Barbara or watercolors and that sort of thing.
Check out Chloe's hashtags. You can look at what I'm hashtagging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good point.
It depends on what you're posting, of course, but it really can be helpful.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, you guys, or comments? Okay, Lisa's in North Carolina, gathering with her family there, and her daughter and grandson are arriving.
That's so
soon.
nice.
That was nice. She could join us from there. So
Yeah.
have a great visit, Lisa.
Thank you.
And you guys have a good rest of your week, and stay safe and nurture yourself. I just think this, you know, we're going into our 5th month now, and it's been quite a trial. And just nurture yourself. Do what is going to nourish your soul.
Thanks, Carissa.
Be really
Thank you so
kind to
much.
yourself.
Thank
Good to see
Yeah.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Okay,
Well,
thanks you
everyone.
guys. I'll see you on next
Bye.
Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.